Imagine the new girl in Forks hides fangs behind every smile. But they are not the fangs of a monster thirsty for darkness. Bella Swan was born a vampire, descended from an ancient lineage that walks in the sunlight. And while everyone sees her as just another shy girl at school, the mirage of humanity that protects her is about to shatter. Forks doesn't change. Its rain falls with the same monotonous rhythm as it did a week ago, a month ago, a century ago. Bella Swan steps out of Charlie's car with a calculated slowness. Not too slow, not too firm. Her suitcase squeaks over the wet gravel. With each step, she hears the artificial rhythm of her heart, that mechanical muscle that beats not from life, but from calculation. A metronome that deceives the world. Charlie hugs her awkwardly. She returns the gesture with the exact smile, the curve of lips, a soft blink, a hint of feigned discomfort. It's all choreography. It's all a cover. Inside the house, she settles into her room like any teenager would. She unpacks old books and scentless clothes, but at the bottom of her backpack, in a double lining sealed with vinyl and silver, there is a small vial filled with thick golden liquid, her monthly ration. Not blood, not food, concentrated light. The Luminari don't drink human blood. They feed on something else, daylight, the sun that others must fear. The next day, the school welcomes her with a nearly comical murmur. Jessica tracks her with her eyes. Mike mutters something as he walks by. Bella responds with calibrated gestures, slightly clumsy steps, as if her body is still adjusting to the gravity of the human world. But inside, every cell of hers is alive with a different kind of energy. An ancient voltage, a bloodline that has remained hidden for centuries. And then, him, Edward Cullen. She feels him before she sees him. A brush in the air, a barely perceptible vibration. In biology class, he sits next to her, and the air between them turns dense, charged, erratic. He slowly turns his head. He watches her. Bella doesn't blink. Then remembers. Blink. 1, 2, 1 more. To darken the golden pupils that for a second were visible. Now they seem brown. False. Edward tenses. His hand on the microscope contracts slightly. He smells something that shouldn't exist. A mix of warm light, damp earth, and a stillness that doesn't belong. There's no blood, no normal human heartbeat, but his ears still detect a heart, only it beats too precisely, too perfectly. She smiles with a touch of shyness, moves her hair the way she saw other girls do, tilts her head, not out of flirtation, but to calculate angles. If the sun comes through the window at the wrong moment, her skin might reflect a golden hue that doesn't belong in this world. She must control everything. The rest of the week is a silent dance. Bella sits in the back row, says just enough, laughs when expected. But every noon, when the sky clears just a little and the rays slip through the clouds, she slips away. To the library, to the parking lot, to the east wing windows. She exposes herself for seconds, just enough, and she feels her skin absorb it, feels the hunger fade. The Luminari don't sparkle, they don't burn, they feed, and the day loves them. Edward begins watching her, not with desire, not yet, but with something more dangerous, suspicion. And Bella feels it. For the first time in decades, she feels fear, not of humans, not for herself, but because in front of her stands another hunter, and she's not sure she can fool him. One afternoon, walking home after gym class, Jessica laughs at something Mike says. Bella laughs too, with the measured cadence she has practiced. But inside, her body hums. It's noon, and the light behind the clouds calls to her like a prayer. In the depths of Edward's gaze from the Cullen's silver car, Bella thinks she sees a reflection, a question, a suspicion. And in that moment, she understands. The secret she's protected her entire unlife may be beginning to unravel. And the one who can truly see her has already started looking. The day of the accident begins with fog, the kind that wraps around the road like a silent warning. Students move through puddles and white vapor, umbrellas closed, backpacks soaked. Bella walks alone, as always. But something in her stride has changed. She's more alert. For days, she's felt Edward's gaze on her back, in the hallways, in the library, in the space between buildings. He doesn't follow her with his eyes. He listens, searching for that false heartbeat that doesn't fit, that inhuman stillness among crowds who breathe. And then, it happens. The screech of tires shatters the silence. Tyler's van spins, betrayed by the wet pavement. It barrels straight toward Bella, but she already knew it was coming. Her reflexes aren't human. She could move, She could stop the vehicle herself, but she doesn't, because he appears first, Edward. He crosses the parking lot with impossible speed and shields her with his body. The van crashes and halts with a sharp thud against his outstretched arm. Bella doesn't scream, doesn't blink. She just looks at him, and Edward looks back. In his eyes, there is confusion, yes, but also something more dangerous, recognition. Not because of what she did, but because of what she didn't do. She didn't bleed, didn't tremble, didn't react like a human girl should, and he knows it. Days later, the silence between them becomes unbearable. Edward approaches her between classes. He speaks. He asks questions that seem innocent but strike exposed nerves. Why didn't she scream? Why doesn't she have a scratch? Why does her heart beat like a clock? Bella deflects, smiles, bites her lip with fake uncertainty, but her fingers are tense, her skin too calm. That night, as Edward walks alone through the woods, he searches for air, for logic. But in his mind, everything unravels. He can't read her, can't track her soul, can't explain her. She is a silence that devours him, and then Alice sees it, for a moment, a fleeting second. She sees light touch Bella's skin, sees her shadow without shine, a figure wrapped in daylight, and Alice, trembling, whispers, "Edward, she's not like us, but she's not human either." On the field trip to the hot springs, everything becomes clear. While the students seek shade from the unexpected sun, Bella walks among the stones as if the light doesn't matter. She takes off her jacket, stretches, her skin is exposed, and it doesn't sparkle, it absorbs, as if she breathes the day through her skin, as if the sun nourishes her instead of burning her. Edward, hidden among the trees, watches everything, and he understands. She doesn't fear the light because it's part of her. That night, when Bella opens her eyes in her room, Edward is there. He doesn't ask to come in, doesn't pretend everything's fine, doesn't smile. "What are you?" he murmurs, voice low and tight. Bella sits up. The moon bathes the room in pale glow. Her face, lit by that light, looks more ethereal than ever. "I'm not what you are, but I'm not what you think either." And for the first time, she speaks. She tells him about her lineage, about the Luminari, an ancient, secret branch born from a vampire who stole fragments of dawn, kept them inside himself until he sired descendants who no longer needed the night. Vampires who walk in sunlight, who feed on it, who live centuries pretending to be human because the Volturi do not allow them to exist. Aro hunts them? Edward asks, still trying to understand. He can't stand the idea of a bloodline that defies his dominion over the night. He fears us because he can't control us. Edward moves closer. He looks at her with different eyes, not like a threat, like a mirror. "Then why are you here?" "Because they've killed almost all of us, and I am the last witness." A second of silence, then something creaks in the house. A shadow passes by the window, and both of them understand the same thing in the same instant. They are no longer alone. The Volturi know where she is, and the time for hiding is over. The meadow where Edward once sparkled in the sun is no longer safe, but it's the only place where truth can exist without masks. He takes her there. Bella follows without a word. The damp grass brushes their ankles. The sky is clear. The light, though faint, filters through, and for the first time, she doesn't hide. Edward watches her under the forked sunlight, without glitter, without shattered glass on his skin, just light that seems to seek her. "I always thought you were an enigma," he says, lifting his gaze, "but I never imagined you were a key." Bella doesn't respond. Inside her chest, the false heart beats faster than ever. She knows why. Edward does too. He feels it. He senses it. "How much time do you think we have?" he asks. "They're already here," Bella whispers. "They're just watching, waiting for me to decide." And then the signal comes. A fog, thick like old smoke, covers the road into Forks. The silence breaks with a subtle sound, footsteps on damp branches. Dimitri, the Volturi tracker, his figure emerges as if the forest itself is rejecting him. Beside him, two hooded figures, silent guards, red eyes, expressionless faces. They make no move to attack. They just watch. Edward and Bella stop before them. No one speaks, until Dimitri slightly inclines his head. Aro is intrigued. "He wants to see you, Bella." "As a guest?" she replies. "As a chess piece. He hasn't decided yet if you'll be queen or sacrifice." Bella clenches her teeth. Inside her, the light burns. "Tell him I don't play," she says. Dimitri smiles, not because the answer surprises him, but because it's exactly what he expected. Then he offers a deal. The air grows colder. Even Edward steps closer to Bella without realizing it. If you hand over Edward Cullen, Dimitri continues softly, the Luminari will be spared. Their existence will remain secret. You'll be allowed to live, perhaps even lead. Bella doesn't blink, and if I don't, then Aro will come for you, for him, and for everyone who knows about you. The wind lifts dry leaves, spinning them like blades, the trees groan under the weight of a forked fate. Edward, still staring at Dimitri, squeezes Bella's hand, not as a plea, as a promise. I choose hell with you over eternity without you. Bella looks at him, and something inside her breaks. It's not fear, not weakness. It's choice. She looks around. The meadow. Charlie's hunting knife, forgotten in the grass after their last outing to the woods. A ray of sunlight touches it. Dimitri notices. Bella steps forward, bends down, picks up the knife, raises it. Not toward him, toward herself. If I destroy myself, she says firmly, you'll have no one to interrogate, no body, no secret. Dimitri doesn't move, but his eyes glint. Do it, he whispers. Bella brings the blade to her neck. It trembles. Edward tenses. The guards don't blink. And then the air changes. Dimitri smiles. Very well, Isabella, but it's already too late. A figure appears behind Edward, soundless, faster than any shadow. Bella barely has time to scream. Edward, he turns. His eyes widen, and in that instant, the meadow erupts into motion. Will Bella choose to sacrifice her lineage or hand Edward over to the Volturi? Find out in Part 2.